Hello, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Beyond the Summit presentation of the Summit 4 Chinese pre-qualifiers semi-final round. We're actually in the last round of this stage of the tournament, as two teams will be advancing to the Chinese qualifiers. This is going to be deciding which of those teams advance between VG Gaming Potential and CDEC Youth, and the next match between Tongfu and DK Scuderia. So, a couple of B teams does make things interesting as far as these up-and-coming players really looking to make a name for themselves. Getting in and performing well in the Summit 4 is a big deal. Bottom line, if you can get to the tournament, that's huge, really hype. If we'll see that back in LA, and it's going to be just a really fun time. But this is going to be the first game of best of 3 series, so we'll see maybe an extended metagame between these two teams, some interesting drafts. I'm excited about it. I think Inflame and June have been really bringing a lot to CDEC Youth as far as just their overall performance, intention to really control the game and to really show what they're capable of. And VG Gaming Potential are always close to my heart. These guys have been running really cool support drafts. They've just really looked to have so many great aspects of Dota, and I honestly think this is one of my favorite teams, even though they're not the flashiest. So I'm looking forward to seeing them, and I think both of them are deserving of the spot of the Summit 4 Chinese qualifier. So we'll see who it will be by the end of the match, and then I will turn it over to Lysander for Tongfu versus DKS. So, this is bright and early for me, 5 a.m. We're looking at this best of 3 for China, and just waking up a little bit. I got some caffeine rolling, and I am pumped, actually. This is really cool. Obviously, the format for the Summit 4 is a little bit different this time around, with 2 Chinese qualifier slots, and then we're going to have the pre-qualifier leading into the qualifier, so kind of having that open format so that everybody can have their opportunity. Well, a lot of those dreams were crushed over the past couple of days in these elimination best-of-1s, but these guys have prevailed and pushed it to this next level. So let's get into the game and into the draft itself. Alright, so we're looking at Lina and Spearbreaker being the opener for VG.P. We're looking at Queen of Pain, Clockwork being CDEC Youth. So I expect Inflame to run the Queen of Pain mid. He ran that alongside his buddy June, who was on a Tusk the previous game I cast, and they were just dominant over the Shadow Fiend. Like, they didn't even give him a chance. But in this case, there's not going to be a Tusk in the field. Tusk goes banned out in phase 1 alongside a Dazzle, actually, which I would say is pretty unorthodox. What that says to me is they don't want people to live in this game more than 5 seconds. They're going to jump on them, they're going to beat them down, and they're going to try to just pummel them into submission. In the meantime, obviously metagame bans, the Doom and the Shadow Fiend taken off the table. So it might be a Lina versus Queen of Pain matchup. That's a kind of classic. It has become one at least. There's still the possibility of Lina Rubik roaming around, but I'm not sure if that's as strong as it could be. So right now we're looking at simply an off-lane pickup with a Spearbreaker and Rubik supporting while Lina's going for the solo mid, but obviously she's versatile and she'll fit where she needs to. They did ban out the Winter Wyvern and the Phantom Lancer, so interesting diversity among those heroes. Almost implied to me that maybe they were looking at like a Wisp strat. That has some good potential with Spearbreaker and if you ban out the Wyvern. But obviously they picked Rubik next, so no Wisp for us. And just going to be going for some good spell steals. You can steal the Queen of Pain Blink. You can steal maybe Clockwork, Cogs, or Hook. Unlikely to steal the Death Ward if the Witch Doctor player is good, but maybe he lags out or something and doesn't toggle that Voodoo Restoration on. What else are we looking at? Pick a second phase. We're going to be really seeing what VG Gaming have in mind with their lineup here, of how fast they want it to go. Because honestly, they can do so many, they can kind of choose their acceleration with the Lina, Spearbreaker, Rubik. There's a lot of timings that you can hit with these 3 heroes that can be very active and very aggressive early. You can kind of dial it back and look for essentially positioning control and map control, and then you farm a hard carry. Like, there's a lot you can do with these heroes, but we'll see them kind of show off what they're looking for here. 20 seconds on the clock. VG.P, I think Yang's drafting is actually really strong. I've admired it ever since like 6.83. They showed some unorthodox picks, and they're going to be bringing in the Juggernaut here. So some good potential. Let's say Clockwork jumps on Juggernaut with the hook shot and the blade mail, and you're just stuck in there. You don't want to Omni Slash him, but you also you're not in a good spot because of the blade mail. So you go ahead and you just spin. You're able to spin through, avoid the battery assault damage, get some damage on him that's unrequited by blade mail, and it's just pretty strong. In general, Juggernaut is just a hero that people have been optimizing a lot, and the new thing I really like is Moonshard. People have been picking up Moonshard on Juggernaut as their 5th or 6th item, and it actually is insanely strong in the hero. There's some various charts and maths thanks to the reduced base attack time of Juggernaut, but for those that don't know, high attack speed Juggernauts and even medium attack speed Juggernauts will get some auto attacks in between their Omni Slashes on targets. It's free damage, essentially. So if you're able to build up your attack speed with Mask of Madness plus Moonshard, you can just tear into people while you're in your invulnerable Omni Slash. So pretty strong. We're going to see Slark picked up in spite of that, though. Obviously, Slark is considered a counter to Juggernaut because the Shadow Dance will break Omni Slash. You pounce away from your team, if he's still on you, you Shadow Dance, and you're good to go. So, yeah, I think that Slark's a pretty solid pick, and it's going to give VG Gaming kind of something to scratch their heads with for the next 30 seconds. They ban out the Disruptor. They seem to know what they do want, or maybe just they don't want to get glimpsed with the Spear Breaker charge, but it's tough. I think this draft is really difficult. Light Strike Array is going to be the spell that controls the Slark for now. Maybe they can get one more ground targeting disabled. No, they're going to go for push. So yeah, they say, we don't want this game to go late. We are going to just lay down on the accelerator. Undying is going to be allowing us to sustain our lanes, and we're going to be looking to bring this thing down pretty quick. As far as people wondering what the stand of this guy, Pink, I don't know his official name because he only has Chinese names, but this guy's been playing with them for actually a decent amount of time here. So just looking at his overall, actually, Dota buff says something completely different. He's been playing throughout this entire tournament, I can give you guys that, but it looks like otherwise he's fairly fresh with the team. So, never mind. So this is, in all technicality, a stand-in, and we'll see how comfortable they are with him, but CDEC Youth, a lot of the previous CIS roster. Obviously no black, but most of the same guys otherwise. Alrighty, so Undying, the last pick for VG.P. CDEC Youth know they're going to be under the gun early on. What support do they get to try to counter push, that they try to survive? I actually wouldn't mind like a Keep of the Light, but they go for the Wraith King here. So Wraith Kings are becoming more and more popular since we're up against Doom nowadays. Doom is in the meta, so Wraith King is kind of a hero that can do a lot against Doom, either through Reincarnation as a core, or just providing the lifesteal aura so you can stand and fight as a support. But I'm not sure how I feel about it here. You're going to be able to charge of Darkness away from most Wraith King stuns. You're going to be able to spin out of pretty much every single Wraith King stun. And it looks like I might be getting some perfect world lag. Somebody else might be too. Oh my gosh, what just happened here? The Observer Ward will provide vision of the Ancient. The game is Defense of the Ancients, and so shall it be. The little yellow eyeball shall guard it with its life. So yeah, that's one ward down. 75 gold, but a much greater cooldown. Holy crap. So, we gotta shame somebody. Who is it? Ah, Demons. Demons did not control click. You gotta control click the healing salves, you gotta control click the clarities, you gotta control click the ward. That was like 3 patches ago. Oh my gosh. Alrighty, so Mind Games means we're gonna be seeing no side lane observer wards. They'll be like, what the heck? Where could they have possibly placed these wards? Well, they placed it in their fountain, just to be sneaky. Alrighty, to get back to seriousness here, it's going to be unfortunate that CDEC Youth do not have an Observer Ward here for their side lanes. They only have it for the mid. It's going to, of course, protect Inflame, which seems to be the name of the game for CDEC Young's early game, but I don't know. That's a really unfortunate loss there, the Observer Ward in the base. In the meantime, the Dire get an Observer Ward here on the Turtle Ward, which is going to give them bottom rune vision, as well as anybody rotating to and from mid. You've got the side shop-ish lane ward here up top, and then it's going to give good intel if, when anybody goes up too aggressively here, that they can just zone them out. But let's look at the lane compositions here. We're going to be looking at Yang, Spirit Breaker, combined with X or Chilma Undying. These two are going to be dual laning it out, and this is one of the classic dual lanes from a few metas back. It's really strong. I would say Witch Doctor is a soft counter to it because Voodoo Restoration is really good against Decay Harassment, but it's still going to be difficult to hold the position against these guys here. These guys are going to be in your face. They're at the very least going to be disrupting farm, and they might just find a kill. In the meantime, you've got yourself the Queen of Pain. Oh, won't say Convergence here. Actually, Raken comes in 3v2. They're choosing two different targets, though, interestingly enough. Cask bounces through. They go in with the Wraithfire Blast, and they've only got a couple of those early on with the Clarity. So, yeah, they'll just try to suppress them early on, but if they've got good items, like the Stout Shield on the Spirit Breaker, they've got the Mangoes, yeah, they're going to be able to kind of fight this one out with more sustain than CDEC.Y are prepared to deal with. Anyways, we've got the mid matchup here, Lina versus Queen of Pain. I expect Inflame to do pretty well here, but as I say that, he's going to be fighting low to high ground, and while he does get a nice level 2 Shadow Strike on his opponent, he's also taking a lot of hits in the process, so he does get to use his salve because no dots. Alright, so I do want to keep an eye on bottom lane, but other than pulling for the Wraith King, I think they'll play a little passively for now. In the meantime, we do have up top here Dogfights getting the secondary pull off. This is a more difficult pull, but breaking down the tree here, they're able to get it done, and yeah, Dogfights is able to really limit the Clockwork experience gains here. June is going to start feeling that, but all the same, we're going to see Yang take a few hits here. Essence being stolen from him. He's losing stats left and right. 4 hits on the Essence shift. It's very temporary stat removal, but it's very annoying if he tries to get close to the lane anytime soon. Meantime, X is going to be getting that haste rune for himself just narrowly. And the bounty rune did go to the Clockwork, so he's going to be getting pretty close to level 4 very soon.
Boom, there it goes.
Mid matchup right now is 8-2 versus 8-1. Very close between the stand-in and Inflame. I think a support contribution could change that up quite a bit, but so far nobody's been able to make it that way to help either side. It's been very just, I don't know, a duel 1v1. And you can expect that. I mean, Spirit Breaker maybe charges around level 4, finds an opportunity then, but for right now, Yang really needs to dedicate himself to shutting down this Slark, who is already 14-3, despite the 2 heroes they've thrown at him. Slark is actually topping out the CS over the Juggernaut, which is quite surprising to me. I mean, Juggernaut has had to farm under tower once or twice, and he doesn't really have last hitting items. You see he's only got 58 damage, no Quelling Blade, but there's a Quelling Blade, and hopefully he'll be able to make up for that. So, Undying moving on the map, but I mean, there's no real surprise factor in this Undying. Like, okay, I'm still getting some perfect world lag and some hiccups. We got this yesterday, and I had to restart the entirety of the Dota 2 client. I'm considering that now. Let me know if the lag bothers you too much, guys. There's always going to be some kale with Chinese servers, but this is it can be a bit much in bigger fights. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah, I mean, Clockwork's still going to be getting a decent level 6 timing. I think that would be the bottom line, is that with all the pulling going on, and the fact is there was a nice bounty rune. Can Dogfights get the lift here? I mean, that's a pretty far lift away. I think he's just going to get some distance. He does have the boots equalizer, but Inflame still is going to get the bounty rune in the end, which is most important. Alright, we are definitely lagging too much, boys. I'll let this dust settle here, make sure nothing's going on, and then we'll go for a quick restart.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Alright,
attack.
looks like it's just going to be passive lanes. I hope we don't miss first blood, but I'm going to go for a quick reset here. But yeah, I mean, the game seems fairly even right now. I think that the Dire have a little bit more pressure to end the game sooner rather than later. When the Slark gets his first couple items, he's going to be either farming or ganking up very actively, and at that point the Spirit Breaker can't really isolate him and charge him and kill him like they want to. So yeah, I think that in general with the Juggernaut versus the Slark matchup, And the fact that they don't have that much control, still not breaking the perfect world lag spike. I'll make sure there's no first blood up top here as Clockwork does take some damage. Gonna be telekinesis back, and there's gonna be a good spin on him. It should be first blood here against June. And yeah, that is gonna be the first blood given to Rubik. Dogfight's gonna get a nice sum of gold to start himself off. But other than that, we're gonna be trying to actually go for the full Dota 2 restart to alleviate the perfect world nonsense. And if this doesn't work, nothing will, and we'll just have to deal with it. But yeah, as far as overall thoughts on the game right now, they're going to get first blood, they're going to get some good damage on the tier 1 top pretty quickly. But I still feel like, although Juggernaut is better in the late game than he used to be, I'm still not sold in this particular game that they want to take it late. I think that Undying is going to allow them to take objectives a lot more effectively with the Tombstone, with the Flesh Golem, and they can start 5-manning a lot sooner. So I would expect that from this kind of a lineup, but you never know. Maybe the Queen of Pain gets out of hand. Right now, she's kind of even with the Lina, but we've seen so many times the Queen of Pain just get a couple of good Sonic Wave ganks off, and suddenly she is out of control, and 5-manning is barely an option for the team against her. So expecting the big things from Inflame here in Game 1 of the best of 3, but now trying to load back into the game. Let's hope we didn't miss any more action. Oh, there is a second kill there. Queen of Pain does end up going down there. It looks like there was just a charge against her with the Laguna Blade committed, and that will set things in motion for the second kill. Good news is it looks like we're not lagging. So let's watch this Spirit Breaker charging his way up top. And here we go. Jumping onto June. Going to be going for the spin after they break through the cogs, but cog knockback ×2 means Juggernaut is unable to close in, and actually just feed a Tombstone away. Inflame gets a freebie as he rotates up top. So, Inflame going to look to use his ultimate pretty soon. Lina's already kind of jumped the gun on that one, and even gets the Bottle Crow to refill for the next Laguna play. So right now, it's 27-3 over 25-9, but Inflame going in. If they can get the Wraithfire Blast, they'll get the kill, but right now it's just the Sonic Wave, and the Magic Wand might give them time to at least deny this Lina. It's a level 2 Shadow Strike. They have to do something. They have to rotate somebody. It's going to be Dogfights looking for the deny here, getting it, and pretty much preventing that Sonic Wave from meaning much for CDEC.Y. I mean, yeah, you take the Lina out of lane, but now she's going to come back with full mana and HP, and yeah, that's just not the result they wanted from Inflame. Alrighty, so Mask Madness is going to come out soon for the Juggernaut. What is Slark looking for? I'm actually curious about this build. He goes for the Midas. Okay, so we've seen a couple of deviations, a couple of different ways to build up the Slark, but at 8 minutes it's not bad to get the Midas and break down that siege creep with that wave. We're going to see the Charge of Darkness on cooldown right now as he charged to the lane, and they take full advantage of that as they combo up their stuns and find their first kill of the game. Witch Doctor, Icy, getting that early bounty. So he's going to be looking for the ability to rotate lanes if necessary, but for now, it's going to be tier 1 action, I think on both fronts. I would expect Juggernaut to pressure the tier 1 top as well. So we'll look down bottom. Tier 1 bottom is going to be hit up a little bit, but no Voodoo Restoration in play just yet, and it looks like they don't want to really force anything. We're going to see a smoke come through. It is going to be the Lina with Invis leading the charge. They know the smoke has broken, but the Radiant do not see the Rubik, which is the important thing. Now they're going to be jumping onto Witch Doctor here, killing him off pretty quickly, and Rubik will pick up... All the supports are getting the kills. Like right now, we have 2 kills on Rubik. We do have, of course, 1 kill from the Laguna on the Lina, but otherwise the Witch Doctor is the only other one with a kill. And that's not bad by any stretch. It's not KSing, it's kill securing. It does create a lot of value as the supports can do just that much more. We might see an early Blink Dagger from Rubik. Oh, nice Omni Slash. 1 more hit required. Delivered. Desperation Hookshot makes it even worse, actually, for the Clockwork. He's going to be respawning in 20 seconds, but won't have his hookshot for a full minute, which kind of takes him off the map. Whereas, normally when a Clockwork dies at level 6 or level 7, he just immediately TPs to another lane, finds a hookshot, finds a return kill, and he's fine. This attempt to hookshot to the creep wave actually costs him even more. That's really unfortunate. D-Ward coming out here for Icy, taking care of this Observer. Very deep sentry to cover up a relatively deep Observer ward, just knowing how the enemy wants to control the map. Sark's going to be farming more and more with the Shadow Dance regen moving around the map. You know, it's probably just the Shadow Dance of the Slurk that scouted out that Observer. Otherwise, you probably don't have enough intuition to just naturally deward that. That's actually a really deep ward. But he's going to go for the Ring of Aquila next. Let's check out levels. Level 4 Undying is actually probably the biggest thing to note here. VG.P, they need to get levels up on this Undying. He wants to get involved, and he's not going to do it at level 4. So he'll leech the entirety of Lina's stack here and bring himself nearly to level 5. He definitely needed to get back online, and that's going to be the way to do it. Dogfights is actually getting solo experience here in the mid, so he's going to get that spell steal out pretty soon. Experience seems to be a pretty high priority for VG.P, and it should be. Everybody needs their ultimates here. Beyond that, we're going to see a hookshot miss, unfortunately, for the Clockwork. It's the second hookshot of the game, and still no kills from him. In fact, he's just 0-2 and 0. Switching over to net worth, we see Juggernaut is topping it out, but only mildly, and I feel like the Midas farm is going to enable the Slayer to... Nice. I actually like that. Yang is just spooking him. He's just kind of fake casting the ultimate there, RS Dota, and he's going to scare a little Dark Fact out of the Slurk. But either way, this Midas will come into play, and I believe that the Slurk will be outpacing the Juggernaut pretty soon, unless Juggernaut finds either an early Battle Fury or starts taking control of the map. And I don't think Battle Fury is the pickup. I really don't. There's not a bunch of summons in play. You don't want to play a farming game against the Slurk. I think you avoid the Battle Fury and just go for a fighting build. Manta style early, S&Y, something like that. Just get involved. Speaking of involvement, we're going to see a 3-man smoke gank come through here. Demon's going to be leading it with Inflame and his Sonic Wave right behind. Doesn't have that much mana to work with, but it should be sufficient here. Just the Magic Wand usage. But will they get it before the Blade Fury comes out for the Juggernaut? He's going to scout this out. He can just walk away if he sees it in time, and there we are. Just the animation of spells is going to be too much. He tries to go for the TP away. Sonic Wave and Death Ward will punch right through that spin. So while you can block both those stuns, he didn't keep moving. He didn't just essentially... charge coming through here onto Slurk. He does have his Shadow Dance. He'll just pounce away, though. But yes, I feel like the spin zone coming out onto Spirit Breaker. Lina's going to cover him with an LSA. He's actually going to be launching Demons back. He just pops the Reincarnate, uses a Magic Stick, skills up Reincarnate, and now they're going to look to turn it around. Going onto Lina, they get the Wraithfire Blast. They might get the kill on the solo mid. The Soul Rep helps, but it's not enough to keep Lina alive. Nice scream from both sides, but the Tombstone is really what's kind of turning this into a war of attrition. Ame going to be able to get the Dark Pact away, but one zombie will stick to him, dropping him down to 150 HP. X forced back by the Wraithfire Blast, and it looks like Lina will be the only casualty of war here. So, hot and heavy in the mid lane, but not actually going to be much more than just the kill on the Lina. Good damage coming in for that Queen of Pain in spite of the Sonic Wave being on cooldown. But yeah, up top there, I kind of feel like if you just spin and run, then the Juggernaut has a decent chance of getting out, but I understand why he went for the spin TP. It's a very natural reaction to a heavy pressured gank, that you're like, okay, well, if I spin and run, there's a chance the Witch Doctor cast catches up with me. I keep running, Icy keeps chasing after me, and then I get stunned out when I try to TP away later. So spin TP is a very natural reaction, but the Death Ward and the Sonic Wave was the answer. It was really actually a great answer in that case. The other thing would be, of course, the hook shot, but we haven't seen much of that connect so far, though Clockwork does finally have an assist on under his belt. So good item progression. We're going to see Aghanim's for the Queen of Pain, Inflame. Nice stack here, being scattered out by both sides. Yeah, not really much else to speak of. I'm curious if the Clockwork even bothers with Blade Mail this game against the Juggernaut. It's still good against Zelina, of course, but I don't know. Maybe you just need to tank up Glimmer Cape on Clockwork. I don't know. It's a weird pickup, but it might actually be good against Lina here. She's got the Yules. I don't know. Everything becomes difficult once Lina has Yules. We're actually going to see Ame fight it out with Van. This is going to be a battle we'll see rehearsed early on in the game so that we can see it play out much later. Queen of Pain does have a Sonic Wave, just going to use it immediately onto Fan, but they don't connect with everything else. Still going to be able to get him before he slips away. The Mask of Madness movement speed is nice, but it's not going to bail him out of everything, and they do get the kill on the Juggernaut and the tier 1 tower. Mid lane, we're going to see the death of the Clockwork here, and the Witch Doctor fight recap won't really tell us too much of that story. It shows us what happened up top. So they jumped in, presumably Charge of Darkness, Nether Strike, follow-up stuns in the Laguna. But unfortunately, we were watching the Juggernaut get picked up top. So yeah, wasn't able to slip out of that one, just didn't see that burst of damage coming. And he is going to be going for the Battle Fury. This is obviously a pretty common core pickup on the Juggernaut, but I feel that it will slow the tempo of VG.P overall. So I'm afraid of VG.P's ability to take it to the late game. The Undying isn't the best hero in that capacity. Rubik has his moments, but in this game I don't think he has that much value in the late game. Sonic Wave skills are pretty huge, but other than that, you're not going to get too much. And yeah, CDEC, I mean, they've got so much going for them as the game progresses. They've got the Midas on Slark, for one thing. They have 2 heroes at the top of net worth. And they just have the ability to fight at all stages of the game, draft-wise. We're going to see Fan here. He really wants to get an Omni-Slash out on this Slark, but Ame knows he's being charged now. He doesn't have Shadow Dance, so he knows that there has to be a Charge of Darkness on him, and he's going to be ready for it. Going to try to keep himself in the open so that the trees don't obscure the Spirit Breaker's approach. And yeah, he doesn't even try to complete the charge. So I think Spirit Breaker is going to go for Hand of Midas too. They are really trying to take this to the late game, and we'll see if maybe the Eula Scepter plays allow them to find pickoffs to kind of get space to do that. Eul's on Lina obviously huge, not as big as it was before though. I think the cast range was reduced by about 200. 575 is the current cast range. It's a lot less than it used to be, and it makes it much more difficult for Lina to find those kills. Nevertheless, they'll go for a smoke play here. And this, if it succeeds, will put Undying very close to Mechanism. Problem is they're going uphill. They do get the charge though, and yeah, I see very, very dead. Level 1 Voodoo Restoration is actually not bad either. They could look at maybe Roshan or Tier 1 Pressure, or sorry, Tier 2 Pressure with this. As yeah, they look to maybe gank up the Slark, but he's got that Blink Dagger, and he's going to be fine. So bottom lane, we're going to see Tier 1 Pressure from this trifecta of heroes. Not really having much going for them, but just want to kill off the Tier 1. Inflame pops a Region Rune and rotates to maybe get involved in the top fight. There's a great Observer Ward here coming out from Dogfights, though. Really solid obs at this point in the game. They know that they want to put the pressure on the top lane, and they're going to see what's approaching. Dogfights even has a flanking position, which actually might cost his life if they catch him out here. Clockwork looking for the hook shot. Not going to find it, and it looks like Dogfights is trying to bail out. This is really difficult for a Rubik. He could die so easily here, but still staying in, yeah, just staying in the trees and waiting for the fight to actually break out. He'll come in from the side after it's already begun. Oh, walks right into Clockwork. Oh no, gets caught inside the cogs, killed off. Yeah, I figured that might happen. Dogfight's going down. Ame, though, gonna be caught underneath the tombstone, underneath the spin. Gonna have to pounce away very early. He's popped both of his cooldowns, but there's the Death Ward, destroying this Juggernaut. Man, he is not tanking this game. Yang gonna be caught before he can TP away as well, and that's a 3 for nil without even claiming the tower. Oh my. CDEC Young just doing so well in this early game, and I gotta wonder about a couple of things. The Rubik's positioning, I love the ward, but then he stayed. I guess he thought there might be a ward in this area, and if he walked there, he'd just be hookshotted. So I can understand maybe considering sticking around there, but either you stay in this spot until a fight breaks out, and then you run in, or you just gotta TP back. Not that there's a good tower to TP to, but, you know, just gotta TP back to like the Tier 2, and then rejoin your allies with some delay. Courier, gonna give Slark his next item. What is it going to be? Oh, looks like he's just gonna get, never mind, he's just getting some wards from his buddy, gonna place those out, and, you know, he'll still keep farming for his next pickup. He has the Blink Dagger, so he doesn't really need a Shadow Blade this game. Scotty, I guess, is really your next pickup. Yeah. The other thing that I'm still not sold on is this Juggernaut. He's so squishy with this Battle Fairy build. yes, you can farm faster with it. And if you... Oh, we're going to see a lot of battery assault knockbacks and the cog knockback, preventing that Spirit Breaker from doing what he wants to do. And another great Death Ward from Icy. I gotta say, these Death Wards have been just absolutely gorgeous. Sonic Wave from the side, Inflame getting a beautiful combo off, but now he's caught up by the Yules and the LSA. Demons lifted up as well. That's a lot of stuns going their way. That's going to kill off both the Wraith King and the Queen of Pain. Wraith King's back with the reincarnation, but Omni Slash did a lot of work already. Now Fan has to kind of stay back while X gets run down by the Slark. One more hit should finish him off, and indeed it does. So everybody else gets the run away. Demons blinks forward. There's a spin TP. He even puts a ward right down in front of him. Just doesn't even care. But yeah, the key thing being Juggernaut gets some blood on his hands finally. 2, 3, and 1 now. But overall, the fight's pretty even considering the reincarnate. That was a level 2 reincarnate too, so it's not nearly as long of a cooldown. And they'll just try to hold this tier 1, which is going to be difficult without the Omni Slash. Tombstone's back up, Mech is there too, so CDEC won't force it. But yeah, it just seems clear that VG.P are kind of off balance right now in this game. There's really good ward coverage coming in from the Radiant. CDEC.Y just doing... We had 2 wards in the Image Jungle. They have 1 ward now down here watching the Ancients again for the 2nd time. And if I can lump it in, even though it's a completely different category, the Death Wards have been completely insane. They've been just in the exact position you need them to be every single fight. Icy's been playing monstrously this game. Inflame has that Aghanims. Going to be able to do a lot of work with the Sonic Wave this game. Short cooldown, lots of damage. In the meantime, I find it interesting the Clockwork ended up going for the Force Staff as his first item after Treads. Maybe goes for a Ghost Scepter this game? I'm not sure. I mean, you're up against Lina, so you don't really want that item. But I'm trying to think of what else he does against Omni Slash. Like, Necro 3 might be okay. Oh, well, there's Battle Fury now, so you don't want to spam units. Oh, Yang gonna get caught out inside the pit. Gonna be killed off, and that'll set up a Roche fight if they could just kill the Tombstone, which Demons is now in position for. Takes a few right clicks here. Oh, still gonna be the fight on the side as the cogs come through. June pops the Invisor right in his enemy's line of sight. Gonna be getting some good Death Ward and battery cell damage on dogfights, and that will kill him off quickly, but at the cost of the Sonic Wave. Inflame uses that early in the fight to counteract the mechanism there. Shopkeeper wants to have his... He's just watching. He's just hanging around. Hey, there's a zombie being blown up by shadows of darkness. Average day of Dota 2 for him. So, yeah, they're going to go ahead and push down the tier 1. They're not going to finish Roshan for now, but they're going to get a free tower. Just killing off one by one these different heroes. Obviously, they saw the Spirit Breaker go in the pit thanks to this Observer Ward, but still very fortunate to find all these pickoffs consecutively. It means that Juggernaut's not able to farm this Ancient stack, which is kind of the entire point of his Battle Fury, is to farm these Ancients. And beyond that, CDEC.Y just continue to accumulate a massive net worth advantage. Over 7,500 net worth. Closing in on 10k experience. CDEC.Y are in a commanding position in this game. Slark Scotty going to be coming up here in about 4 to 5 minutes. And in the meantime, Spirit Breaker still working on that Hand of Midas. Fans, Juggernaut has the Battle Fury, but he needs more. And although the Observer Ward was just dewarded, they're going to keep scouting this Ancient stack with the Rocket Flares. So, oh, really Thunderhide Lizard. Thunderhide Lizard messed up the stack. They'll just go for the kill on these Ancients, and with the Healing Ward and the Mask of Madness, it should be made quick work of. But he has to worry about the hookshot now, as he's caught in a really awkward position here. This is a very difficult juncture. He tries to juke with a little quick movement up and down the steps, but now he's actually hiding out and maybe looking for a play in the Roshan pit. In the meantime, Ward Wars happen over here. They know this was just dewarded. They just put an Observer under a Sentry. Is there any easy way to get vision up there? Other than tombstoning it, I don't think so. Alright, so Yule's going to be coming out for the Queen of Pain. This is essentially an answer to both the Juggernaut and the Lina threats right now. Lina goes for the Yule's Light Strike Array. You're going to be able to self Yule's before that hits you 99% of the time. And then the Omni Slash, obviously, can break that by getting tornadoed up as well. So Inflame's mostly going to be using this as a self Yule's, but it should be pretty good. The only time you'd use it offensively, other than for catch potential, is to cancel a Spearbreaker charge. Can we see a smoke here? Yep, Smoke to see coming out. That's going to be heading on 4 heroes while Ame moves across the map. He's got the blink. He's got potential to just hurt the Spearbreaker for free, but we're going to see the side flank here, and this could be a key initiation. Getting the jump on Lina. She's barely going to be able to get some spells off. Nice Mechanism Soul Rip, keeping her alive, but Dogfight's just going to go down straight up. Laguna Blade going to be on Inflame. He will be able to self-heals despite the Omni Slash, and Inflame does get the blink away! Are you kidding me? The Queen of Pain surviving through it all. Now Demon's trying to fight a Tombstone, but it's gonna be undeath that he experiences long term as he reincarnates. Now we see, oh, sorry about the camera there, guys. Death of the Spearbreaker after the Queen of Pain. Spearbreaker charges onto Queen of Pain, Slark charges onto Spearbreaker, and they both subsequently fall. So right now it's a 3 for 2 favoring CDEC, and not actually 3 for, yeah, no, it's despite killing the Wraith King twice, it's still a really bad result for VG.P. They get more golden experience out of it, but that was a fight that they... well, we'll see the Lina get picked off as well. That's even worse. Oh my goodness, she tries to Yule's the Slark, but he already had the Dark Pact on him. So yeah, this is getting very difficult for VG Gaming potential to hold. Actually gonna get hook shot. He has a TP, he should be able to use it. No way to bash him down, and just narrowly survives the onslaught of the Slark. So, yeah, the Observer Ward that didn't get de-awarded because there's no vision mechanic. Unless he steals Rocket Flare, which I don't think he did. No, he stole Battery Assault. But yeah, oh my gosh. So, to break that last big fight down, CDEC were the ones to initiate it with Smoke. So, that being said, it wasn't that bad for VG.P, but the fact that the Spearbreaker had to chase down the Queen of Pain and they couldn't just focus on the fight itself was really detrimental to their overall result. If the Spearbreaker could just focus on the fight, Queen of Pain died there, with the quick stuns coming in against her, that would have been great. But they commit a Laguna Blade on a hero that then lives for 10 more seconds, and in the meantime, everybody else is fighting it out in the central part of the exchange. It doesn't bode well for what VG.P are able to do in terms of focusing down targets. Now we see this Closer Haste will become a casual one as Yang has no time for Midas. Ame's outside his base. He needs a real fighting item. He's going to look for the Halberd or the BKB.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So, just the Undying is not really able to make the difference in these like 5-on-5 team fights that you would hope. Just the Flesh Golem Tombstone combo, it's just, it locked the CDEC in position for that one. The zombies did a lot of work, but I don't know, it still came out to maybe an even fight at best. And that's, you know, calling the reincarnated kill, really. It's 3 for 3 if you call the reincarnated kill, but it doesn't give any by the metrics value to VG.P. And he's going to have a Blade Member soon. Sonic Wave to farm creeps, no problem. And Slark not only completing Scotty, but now the Basher. Spin TP is now a significant risk. There is going to be an Aghanim Scepter upgrade on Lina. Level 14, though, she only has 650 pure damage with that Laguna Blade here. Ice, so you're going to be approaching his own Aghanim Scepter here in about 1100, and that's going to be where things get really difficult for VG.P. Fan will have SMY or Manta by then, but the illusions won't last long in this environment, and he does go for SMY, knowing that there's not really much to this spell here for the Juggernaut, so Manta's active won't really help, other than the illusions, which just get killed off so quickly anyways, I think. They're going to look at the Roche Pit, Rocket Flare coming through. They could start Roche as soon as the Rocket Flare dissipates, and that would be really good for them. We'll see here. They see the Rocket Flare. They see it fading, and they could just go right into it. Mask of Banus jumping in, but man, that Rocket Flare, just short enough cooldown that he can kind of keep tabs on everything. They don't go for the rush bit, though. They consider that too big of a risk. I feel like that's a necessary risk at this point. Like, if you don't go for Roshan, then you're not going to get much, but maybe they'll get the Wraith King before he blinks away. Now Fan shows himself, and that's going to be that. So, yeah, it's a tough risk, but I feel like VG.P are in such a losing position this game, they just have to. Now Ame's going to go in, YOLO here with the Shadow Dance immediately coming out, and now we're going to see the Sail Heals of the Lina. Sonic Wave follows that up for a quick kill on her. No Laguna in this fight, and the Aghanim Scepter means very little as a result. Undying gets the decays out, but other than that, he's just kind of waiting through the battlefield. Witch Doctor gonna get crit down hard by the Juggernaut, barely finishes him off, and that's the only 2 kills for VG.P, and they lose 3 in the process. They do get the Reincarnate once again, but that'll be back up in a couple minutes. The big kill is the Slark. They did chase him down and finish him off, but it's the fact that Slark can just walk in there and just plow into you like that is pretty insane. Great damage from the Queen of Pain, too. She got an amazing Sonic Wave that game, while Lina... or to that fight, while Lina almost got nothing. I'm just thinking, like, when the Slark has an Abyssal Blade, maybe a BKB, what can VG.P do to him? It's so hard to control him already, but it's going to get more difficult. And it's just a draft win, honestly. Like, CDEC.Y drafted this Slark into a perfect position to succeed. There's very little that will control him this game. And he knows it, so he's playing like it. You don't run up to the Juggernaut that's farming here, knowing there's probably like 4 heroes behind him back here, unless you're very confident in what your hero's capable of. And that's obviously true for Ame. He knows that there's very little they can do. He does end up dying and giving up a bit of a kill streak, but he doesn't think twice about it. He just keeps doing his thing. He's the only Midas carrier in this entire game, which gives him the late game by the numbers. And then, of course, he's also scaling like insanely hard. With Abyssal and Scott, he can always stay on his target. Yules is really the only thing that will disrupt him. So it's going to be really difficult for VG.P as the game progresses. They're going to need something big coming out from Fan here. Fan Juggernaut, and Fan as a carry in general. He's pulled out some amazing work. I actually am a huge fan of his Phantom Lancer, but it's just this game, no matter how much he farms, I feel like he's always going to feel like he's behind. 15.8k, just 1k net worth behind. I mean, he's been farming really well to keep up with the Midas Slark, but it's still just, game is hard. Clockwork and Witch Doctor both approaching Ags, and Clockwork did go back for that Ghost Scepter, guys. So those that say, oh, there's lead in the game, you can't go Ghost Scepter, it's all about when you use the item. And so Clockwork finds the value in it if he can just use it during an Omni Slash. Beyond that, Aghanim is pretty much done for Witch Doctor. He's got 600 gold to go, but they're going to go for one smoke play before that happens. It looks like they'll go right into the pit. I mean, honestly, they can just have Sentinels on the high ground here, have 2 people in the pit, maybe 3, and they'll be fine. So, actually just going to go all 4 in the pit, and VG.P have a small window of opportunity, but you see they don't really have a good means of approach. They're going to see Yang with the Observer Ward going to catch out the Spirit Breaker, but now they have a lot of people up on the cliff. There's a Tombstone in play here. They're going to be able to nuke down Inflame, just barely surviving. He should not get out. The zombies will kill him. But now Slark going to be popping the Shadow Dance and surviving. Nice Light Strike Array! Stuns the Slark in his Invis, and they'll kill off 3. Forcing the Reincarnate. He'll blink out, but Lina caught on the high ground against the Death Ward. Another amazing Death Ward from Icy, doing so much damage. There was a buyback on, I believe, the Queen of Pain. He'll get hit by the Omni Slash though, and June doesn't get the Ghost away. Now they're going to try to crit down this Juggernaut, but he's popped his BKB, and he's man-fighting as hard as he can. Going to go onto Icy here. Malediction means nothing, and Fan just stays right on target. No Paralyzing Cast for you. He'll spin. He can't TP. The mana is not there. And he's just going to have to fight it out against Inflame. He knows it. Looking for a couple lucky crits. Now going for the TP. Inflame does get the Yules off to interrupt it. Looks for the Scream follow-up. And now going to blink away after getting the damage over time. Fan here. Gonna go maybe for a bounty rune. But will he? No, Inflame gets the Blink Scream. Still a tremendous fight for VG.P. Absolutely insane. And this is the fight that they needed. This is what can start bringing things back. Getting a buyback on the Queen of Pain and actually making it a 5 for 5, essentially. Spearbreaker back in. Oh my gosh, he almost got Inflame dieback. That would have been huge. But no. Last fight, they did kill the Slurg. They got a kill streak. It's nice, but they need to get these fights where they kill everyone. They need to kill all 4 or 5 heroes to actually consider any team fight a win, or they're just treading water in this game. So I really feel like that was a nice swing of forward momentum. But will it be enough? You can see they started to get a little bit of momentum here, and by net worth, and now they're really starting to slide into a position where they can continue to fight. But in the meantime, Juggernaut's down for 30 seconds, and for some reason Undying's out here. I don't know what X is doing, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe he's going to bait a fight, but like, how do you fight without the Juggernaut? He'll try. They'll get used up on the Spearbreaker. They've lost the Undying. They're losing the Spearbreaker, and I have no idea what the game plan was here. Without the Juggernaut, there isn't a team fight. End of story. Like, I don't know how desperate they are that they'll just walk into the pit like that, but yes, there are wards in play, and you just can't move around the map like that. I'm assuming they just didn't think they had vision on them. That the Undying thought he could get this ward out and then walk away, and he tried to sneak into the pit to make sure that he could escape, but in the end it was very foolhardy, and they end up feeding 2 heroes instead of 1. Aegis will go to Slurk, dropping his Ring of Aquila, and yeah, this Juggernaut needs to just do some amazing things now.
Homing in.
Net worth going right back to CDEC. VG.P need to not only hold the line, they need to find multiple kills. I think they have to ignore the Wraith King at all costs. Like, I feel like every single fight, VG.P have killed the Wraith King once, and he reincarnates and it means nothing. There's actually only 2 times that he's died for real this game, and it just, I feel like he's reincarnated like 4 different times. And if they can just ignore the Wraith King, focus on the cores, then they can probably be in a much better position. There's just not a support that you can really put any real damage into. He's going to try to make that difficult for them by going for the Heaven's Halberd, but Juggernaut does have both BKB and Spin, so he should be okay. In fact, maybe it's just a Solar Crest. I don't know. Both are countered by magic immunity, so I'm not too sure between the Halberd. I think it probably is Halberd over Solar Crest, but either way, I don't know if it's the most game-changing pickup. BKB, Spearbreaker, finally coming out here. This has been a long time coming. Spearbreaker has had the exact same items for, I would say, the past 18 minutes. I mean, it's earned Treads, Magic Wand. It's been sitting on nothing else but components until now. So, great to finally have him in the action and sticking to his target with that BKB. They still, I think, have to deal with the Death Ward, though. Even more than before. The Aghanim Scepter is up for Witch Doctor, and the Death Wards have been insane. I mean, from the Roche pit, putting it on the high ground here to get into the fight, that's just a great angle. Like, if anybody wants to play a good Witch Doctor game, just download this replay and watch the Witch Doctor here. Just watch what Icy does, because he's actually played a perfect game in terms of his ultimates. Probably goes for Ghost Scepter next on the Witch Doctor. Makes sense to me. BKB is not bad, though, because only another strike will actually interrupt. The Omni Slash no longer does. So we're going to hear the Abyssal Blade come out here, bursting down on the Lina. Mechanism tries to keep him up, but it's too little too late. Lina might have to buy back very early on here, and they're up against an Aegis. So they reset, wait, just probably this creep wave. They could wait 50 seconds for the Abyssal, but they don't have to. If they want to force the buyback, now would be the best time for it. So they're looking at top lane's pushed out, they'll go for mid lane, and that's going to be time ticking for Lina. She has to make her call. It's going to be a pretty costly buyback, but she wasn't seeing any items soon anyway, so I'm pretty sure she'll pop it. And they'll definitely need her for this fight. Otherwise, it'll just be like the Juggernaut situation all over again. Alright, so Fortification comes out. No buyback from Lina just yet, but there's no Tombstone to hold this position. They've really just got to go. Wraithfire Blast forces Fan to spin, and it looks like they're sacrificing one lane of Rax for that Lina pickoff. They're unwilling to buy back unless it's for another lane, and obviously the Time Warp will take down. They're just going to let the Rax go, and that's unfortunate, but it's just the state of the game, I guess. They can't afford unnecessary buybacks. That pickoff costs them, and they're going to hold on to it. Essentially, the way I look at it now is, I understand the reason. Losing Rax really sucks, but if Lina bought back, there's no guarantee that they hold the Rax against the Aegis Slark. And more importantly, if Lina does buy back, she's one pickoff away from them losing the game outright. If Lina gets Abyssal killed again, then with buyback on cooldown, then they're absolutely screwed. So I can understand why they kept it, but it's a tough call to make because now you're down a full Rax, and CDEC, they are just too strong right now. Inflame Hex probably coming through. Icy Ghost Scepter, so he does go for the Ghost Scepter over the BKB. So, as long as he stays away from the Lina, he doesn't really need a BKB. Charge of Darkness, Light Strike Ray, and Yules are the only real threats to interruption. Are there any gems this game? I feel like this has been a gemless game. Indeed it has. The D wards have been just really natural, moving a lot of sentries around the map, most importantly. Lina does find a Blink, so may be able to interrupt that Death Ward a little bit easier, Blink Yules during the fight, but otherwise he's just going to have to stay back. This is a very key positioning tool, where he avoids the Slark at all costs, and doesn't get caught by the Abyssal. I think Lina might even be a higher Abyssal priority target than the Juggernaut, actually, because the Lina nukes and stuns is really the only thing that Slark is afraid of, or I would say that, but he just picked up a BKB, so as long as he can tank through the Laguna Blade, which I'm sure he can, Ame's going to be in a great position this game. From here on out, I guess he's going to go for Moonshard BOTs and Butterfly, I guess would be the last pickup. I think that's probably accurate. And that'll wrap it up. Got a couple plate mails here. So Shiva's for Inflame, AC for Wraith King, Clockwork. Not sure. Maybe goes for...
And it's off.
I wouldn't say... Lotus is okay. I mean, Lotus is not bad, but other than that, you're doubling up on an item, which is a little awkward. And then here, the Charge of Darkness going to the top lane. This could be a pretty big mistake. This literally could just be his death. Yang going to be charging right over an Observer Ward, and they could look for the pickoff. The Clockwork is not in position for it, though. So, in the end, I have no idea why I did that. Doesn't accomplish much of anything, but there you go. Gem of True Sight coming out for Witch Doctor, the first gem at 43 minutes. They're already in a commanding position as in terms of map control, in terms of net worth, but they'll make sure that the gem solidifies that and suppresses all the vision that VG.P could have. There's one lonely ward that'll stay here for 2 minutes, but other than that, yeah, I think CDEC.Y will now be able to really just create a network of control over VG.P. You see that with the wards in particular. A Plateau ward here and a Plateau ward here. This is the classic suppression ward that makes it so that they can't really leave their base. With the lanes pushing in, with the Rax, and those two wards, they'll always know a VG.P smoke. And smoke is really the only winning play for VG.P, but if it's prepared for because of those wards, then not much can be done. So I think they'll try for it here, but you expect CDEC.Y to just immediately get back. Oh, Observer Ward. Gonna see X. So they'll see their movement, they'll get the dewarding out before they try to go for a smoke play. That's probably the best option they have. So Juggernaut keeps pushing out mid. Oh, but there's going to be the jump here. Where's the Abyssal Blade is going to be the question in this fight. Ame gets bounced back twice. Actually going to get destroyed before he gets a spell off. Oh, the Spirit Breaker combo breaks down the Slark. Feeling so confident with himself, but doesn't. If you don't get a spell off, you're in a very different situation this game. Pounce gonna miss onto June, unfortunately. Hard to kind of angle that when you're not the actual Slark hero. Inflame in a little bit of trouble, but seems confident enough to throw out a couple spells before he jumps away. In the meantime, though, this is going to give VG.P a nice little window of opportunity to stretch their arms, legs, see what they can do outside the base. So, yeah, really brilliant pickoff on the Slark there, and obviously Slark getting a little overzealous, jumping in without his teammates available. Most of the damage coming from the Juggernaut naturally, but Laguna can't be underrated. So, we'll have to expect that Ame's going to look to tone it down over the next play. Ooh, Lotus Orb for Inflame. So, Yules, Laguna, Nether Strike, Charge, a lot of Rubik spells. All that can be echoed. Omni Slash, I think, could be echoed. Yeah, should be able to be. You can just cast Omni Slash back on... I guess you'd cast it on the Juggernaut, though, and he's invulnerable, so I'm not sure how that works, actually. It's intriguing. Anyways, we've got here the Butterfly on Juggernaut. Very fast attack speed he's working with, and that's going to be good for his damage during Omni Slash, but is it going to be enough to break through CDEC? There is no MKB on Slark. Fan has actually become really tanky just now in that regard, but oh, blinking forward Ame. This could be a huge pickoff. If they get the blink initiation here onto the Slark, that would be immense, but I think they're looking for a flank rather than brute force approach, and that means they have to go uphill. Just scary. Oh, Roshan, will he scout it out? No! Van, go back in! He sees it. He sees the Rosh. But the Rocket Flare will come through, and they're just going to break the smoke. If they see the Juggernaut in the pit, they just get the win! They're going to kill him dying first, he's going to Glimmer Cape, but it doesn't seem to matter. There's going to be the Cook Shot in, and the Shiva's up. Fan is fighting for his life now. The Omni Slash comes out, doing large damage. Queen of Pain Yules, and the Reincarnate of the Wraith King makes it irrelevant. Fan goes down for perhaps the last time. They will lose the Queen of Pain, but they clean up 3, taking the Lina down with them as well, and that is going to be Roche. That should be the game. We'll see here Clockwork hooking in, Aghanim Scepter getting him some pursuit tools, but Dogfights has both the Force and the Pounce, and yeah, screw Roshan. It's time for the throne. They will force 2 buybacks. Now it's probably Roche. Yep, 2 buybacks is plenty. Go back to the pit, and that's going to be the safe play. Oh my.
And it's off.
Just a really fortunate opener for CDEC. Just seeing the smoke break, jumping on their target. Ame, he can just initiate so well because he sees when they see him, thanks to Shadow Dance, and can immediately react as such. So he blinks on top of the target, pops BKB, and just goes to town. And he saved the Abyssal for the Juggernaut, which was a really smart usage as well. Aegis now, gonna be going to the Slark again. Midas, goodbye Midas, you've served me well. He'll probably sell that before he uses it ever again. And you can like hold Midas in the courier and just whenever it's off cooldown use it, but more often than not, you'll just sell it at this stage. Moonshard BOT is all he really needs for best in slot anyways. Moonshard BOT and MKB, I guess.
Top tower is under attack.
27,000 net worth advantage. Experience as well for CDEC Young. Blink Dagger for the Witch Doctor, actually, his is his next pickup, so gonna be definitely dodging the Lina by matching her tit for tat on mobility. And that's gonna allow him to get in trees for Death Wards and a lot of other cool things. Maybe the Tombstone can break down the trees and screw him over, but for the most part, Icy should have an extra tool to get in even better Death Wards off, if that's possible. Icy has been impeccable on Death Wards this game, and the Blink is just an extra means to making that happen, allowing that to connect. Alright, so we've got the Lotus Orb up for Queen of Pain. It's not a bad item, but I'm not sure if it's like gonna... It messes with the Spirit Breaker, it messes with the Lina. And if you put it on the Slark, Ame, oh my gosh, he's got Dark Pact, he's got BKB, he's got Shadow Dance, and then with the Lotus Orb on top, you can Dispel a Hex. Obviously there's no Hex in play, but I'm saying if you were up against a Hex, you could Dispel that for him. You could just give him the Echo Shell for a few seconds there. That's so many timing windows where just nothing can be done to the Slark. As conclusive as this game seems to have been for the past 10 minutes, I will note one thing. there are no buybacks on either side. So while there is Reincarnate on the Wraith King, while there is Aghanim Scepter, or sorry, the Aegis of the Immortal on the Slark, they don't actually have buybacks themselves, and that is what throws are built upon. So if there's a way to lose a 25,000 net worth lead and a complete map dominance position, it comes down to not having buyback. And we'll have to keep our eye on this Slark. He's made some interesting and very aggressive reckless plays so far this game. He's feeling very confident with this Aegis and the Moon Shard, even more so than any other stage of the game. So maybe he goes in just a little bit too YOLO and loses those 2 lives without his allies to back him up. We'll see. For now, Ame just walks right up to the tier 3. Backdoor protection is still up, but Slark doesn't seem to care too much. Lena lurking in the tree line, looking for her opening. It's going to be a really tough initiation, but it needs to happen. Buyback on the Juggernaut, and on Juggernaut alone. Van's going to have to go in pretty hardcore here. Going to be stunned out by a Wraithfire Blast of all things here. Just chain stun by the hookshot while Slark flinks in and kills off the Rubik. Now the Undying, and that might just be the fight. We do get a little spike of lag, Calais in play, but my goodness, CDEC just running them over. That wasn't even close. The fact that Juggernaut gets caught by a Wraithfire Blast when he has a VG.P and a spin is probably the... I mean, obviously it doesn't matter. The fight was so one-sided, but that's a nail in the coffin for sure. Anyway, the VG.P gonna be down 1 game in this best-of-3 series, and they are 1 game away from being eliminated from contention for the summit. CDEC Youth really wants to break through the next stage and make it to the full-on Chinese qualifiers against the big dogs, and so far they're playing like the team that needs to do it, especially with that really smart draft. And oh my gosh, those death wards, I can't get over them. Like, you guys can just say I'm overhyping it, but holy shit, those are some of the best death wards I've seen in Dota 2, period. Like, just every single one absolutely perfect. I'd love to see the hero damage count on Witch Doctor, but most sites that keep track of that don't give the credit to the hero, because the death ward is its own entity. Anyways, enough of that. 51 minutes in, CDEC Youth take game 1 of this best-of-3 series and will be heads held high moving into the second game in their endeavor to eliminate VG.P from this last round, the semi-final round, in order to qualify for the Summit for China. Thanks once again for tuning in. I myself am Blaze, and we'll go into a short break before we jump into game number 2. Thanks for tuning in.